Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and here with me today I have a stud edge rusher I'd like you guys to meet. This here is Justin Reed. He is a defensive end out of the Naval Academy. Nice to have you today, sir.
Nice. That's so pleasure to be here.
Hey man, pleasure to get an opportunity to meet one of these top athletes coming out of the military academies this season. Had a fantastic season this past year, and again, maybe one of the top prospects coming out of the military academies this year. With you, obviously wanting to pursue the pros. So, Justin, go ahead and introduce yourself so we can get going.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Justin Reed. I'm from Apex, North Carolina. Play defensive end here. Did a lot of special teams over here across the board. Just involved. I was a position captain, all conference. So
Cool, cool. Let's kind of walk through some of your earlier stuff, and then we'll get to talking about this past season, which is very great for you guys. From Apex, North Carolina, attended Apex Friendship High School there. So let's talk about it maybe even further back, if possible. How long have you played football?
yeah. So I started playing football when I was in seventh grade. And from there, immediately fell in love with the game. Uh, it was just something I could do, like keep my head straight, taught me a lot about myself and the life lessons that went along with it. So from then on, took that through high school and then just saw so much benefit from playing the game and I enjoyed it and I loved competing. So it was a perfect way.
All right. So started there seventh grade, middle school, time. Were you always an edge rusher? Did you move around a little bit? I mean, talk about like the early stages of you developing.
Oh yeah. So it started off playing middle linebacker. That was how I started off, middle linebacker and fullback. And then from there, as I got bigger and bigger, they were like, "Oh, we can put him an outside linebacker." And then I was like, "Let's try and put him on the line." So and then kept going back and forth, just playing all around the defense. And then offensively, like playing like 7-on-7s, doing like a tight end fullback type of deal. That's where I kind of grew my game on that side. So definitely
Cool.
enjoyed all of that.
Um, Along with some football, did some track and field during your time there in high school. Talk a little bit about your high school days. Maybe perhaps your fondest memory there for Apex Friendship.
Uh, for me, I think the biggest one was since Apex Friendship was a new school, uh, we were the first class to be able to go make it to the playoffs. And getting our first playoff win while we were there my senior year, and they let me go out there in Wildcat formation. It was like fourth quarter game, and I was able to run it in for a touchdown. And then just seeing the guys, like we all celebrated, and like that moment was like I truly was like I can't get rid of this game. I was obsessed with it. With those moments, when it comes down to crunch time and that feeling, you get your heart beating and that adrenaline. So that was just something that I could cherish with me throughout my time in high school.
Cool. So I was looking through some of your recruiting, along with the Naval Academy, had offers from Army, also Colorado, Tulane. Interestingly enough, I saw that your father had, obviously, served, in the military, and maybe perhaps that was a huge influence on you as to how you wanted to, pursue the next level. So, talk to me about why you ended up choosing the Naval Academy.
Hmm. Yeah, my dad, yeah, he served in the army. And he was very tough on us when it came to sports and competitiveness. But he also made us appreciate the values when it comes to like what he did in the army. Um, and so when it came down to making my college decision, having Tulane in Colorado, playing at a very high level, something that stuck out with me with the Naval Academy was that it was bigger than football. And the things that you did outside the classroom or outside of the field helped you grow and develop and that you can apply to your game. And so that's the biggest benefit that I had playing here at the academy was taking the stuff off the field and being out there in the gritty, like going to Quantico, doing training out there, that coming over here for my senior year made a huge difference to how my entire approach and the stuff that we don't do things here um, are easy. It's pretty tough. So it just gave you another edge when you go out to go play other schools and even other service academies. So I guess in the back of my mind of going to a service academy, I really wanted to broaden my horizon to see a bigger picture and ultimately make myself a better player from doing that.
Yeah, I think most people, if we're being honest, when they end up going to a service academy, they're looking beyond football,
Mhm.
to other things like later down the line, setting themselves up for success, for years and years and years to come. So, we're going there, obviously for phenomenal education, and prepping yourself in order to be able to serve your country. So, what have you been able to do there as a student? Can you talk just briefly about what you've been majoring in and what you're trying to accomplish there?
Mhm. Yeah, so currently I'm an English major here at the academy. Um, and throughout my time, you get certain leadership roles and certain billets is what they call. So like as of right now, I'm a squad leader, in charge of a certain amount of midshipmen, and checking up on their progress and doing evaluations of that, just taking care of your people. And so throughout that time, that's helped me grow as a leader. You take classes about leadership and ethics since you come in as like a freshman, sophomore. So just taking that and applying it to real world scenarios and taking that and applying it to football too. That's how I ended up being a leadership captain on like a leadership council was for those same principles. And then you apply to football. So that helped me grow as an adult and as a player and being a mentor to the guys, um, to help striving, like keeping the standard and being successful on the field. So
Great. So English major, it's kind of interesting. I'm not exactly sure what you want to do with that. I mean, maybe we're looking at a future English teacher. No, I mean,
yeah.
obviously we're doing football right now, but I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 10, 20 years. But um, anyhow, so let's go ahead and talk about, you as an athlete and this phenomenal defense, actually, probably one of the better defenses, most complete defenses we've seen from Navy in quite some time. Can you kind of describe that defense and some of the pieces around you?
Yeah, so we were big believers of doing your 111. Um, your job, taking care of your job, was a huge focus on us and ironing out the small details. In years past, we came very close to being achieving the goals that we wanted to achieve, but we're just a few six plays short here. We kind of let off the gas a little bit, and so going into this year defensively, we wanted to be strong across the board from up front and even the coverage piece and the secondary. We played, everyone had their role and we had to make sure we took care of our jobs. And I'd say across with our leadership was a huge factor in that throughout the off season of making sure that we hammered a lot of the hard things, things that got us beat in years past. Like we weren't going to let that happen again. Don't make the same mistake twice. So
Yeah, you went out there, had a 10-3 record this past year, which is very respectable if we're thinking about some of the people that you lost against and by how much. You guys were in every single game you were playing. So it wasn't this was not a fluke of a year, man. A lot of great things happening this year. And as you had mentioned, a lot of great teammates around you. A lot of people getting a ton of love there from Navy. I'm thinking about Colin Ramos and uh, even some guys on the back end with Deshaun Pete. A lot of guys there. Any of the people there, whether it be your teammates or coaches, who do you feel has been, I don't know, the most influential for you as developing you as a player and just kind of overall during your time there?
I would say our coaching staff had a huge role, especially our strength coaches. They spent the most time with us, especially in the off season, talking about what kind of legacy you wanted to leave behind and what do you want to do, especially for all of us seniors. And so we had a very strong feel to the words that he was saying. even when our lifts, like those extra pushes, finishing through lines, no one pulling up early. Everything was about effort when it came to us. So we just wanted to make sure that we couldn't get complacent, especially when we knew what kind of team we had going into the season. We knew we were going to have some success, but we couldn't get complacent with just winning. So that's when you make the mistakes. So we had to make sure that we were staying, putting foot on pedal, and just keep pushing.
Great. Let's talk about some of these great games this year. I wanted to talk first about you had a game against UAB where you had two sacks in that game. Talk about those moments, man. I mean, obviously you were able to get one over on those guys several times throughout that game, and make the tackle on the quarterback, getting the sack. Uh, Talk through those plays if you can remember them.
Oh yeah. Um, so we have a lot of different schemes that we'll do to disguise our defense, and so sometimes we'll just only rush three. But going into it, I knew my biggest strength against our line was going to be my speed to power. That's something that I had worked on throughout my years here at the academy. And so I knew it was going to have a good outcome if I used it in the game. So that helped me out a lot. And then once you did that, it opened up doors for other maneuvers. Um, so that's something I just had to take advantage of those opportunities that you get to have those plays and being able to rush three. So a lot more people in coverage. Lets us do more things schematically, and that helped us out overall.
Gotcha. I got to talk about the Army game. Uh, Biggest game of the year, of course, for you guys. Not only because it's Army, but there are like playoff implications in this game. There's a lot going on. I mean, probably like the highest profile a game we've seen from the Army Navy game in God knows how long. A lot of great talent on both ends. Talk about that matchup, man. I mean, obviously a fantastic matchup, and you guys coming out the victors in that one.
Yeah, we knew Army had a good team this year going into it, so that just means we had to just try, like, we had to push even harder. Schematically, we knew this type of style of offense, going against another triple option team or another variation of how the games evolved. Um, we knew that we had to do some things a little bit differently, but most of all, our fundamentals was going to be a huge factor of the outcome of the game. It's those service academy games, especially Army Navy, teams that makes the fewest mistakes wins, and we kind of make sure that we had to eliminate all mistakes across the board, offensively and defensively. But defensively, we just had to make sure that we can keep them back. And I know up front, their O line, I think, was they all were all conference players going into it, and we have a younger O line, younger D line this year. So I made sure that I stayed with the guys and we push hard during times that we can, especially playing in late December games. Teams are at that time teams are pretty beaten up, and we got some injuries and whatnot. But we knew that this all eyes were on us, and it starts up front. So that's why I love playing on the D line. That um, you're the first line of defense when it comes to the game. So we were out there, and we just knew as we set the new line of scrimmage, we were gonna be all right.
Great. Obviously, you guys did great in that game. 31-13 was the final score. And setting you guys up for actually a very solid bowl game opportunity against Oklahoma, where you actually came out the victors in that one too. I mean, again, you guys, just did a great job throughout this past season, but ultimately walked away, victors in your bowl game. How did it feel to walk away, uh, getting that particular win against a top opponent there in the SEC?
Yeah, I think we really wanted to test ourselves because we knew we had a good team this year, but playing against the SEC team for sure was going to be a big challenge for us. So we knew the opportunity that we had and the stage was set. So it's just how to be execution. Um, Oklahoma had a really good team, especially they had like a young quarterback too. Um, but we just knew we couldn't let up. And by the time we got to the fourth quarter, we just stayed. We just never gave up. And for a split second, we were down, but nobody dropped their heads. We knew what our capabilities were, and especially on defense. Um, I think we held them to a few points in the that later second half of the game, uh, and that's what ultimately came down to the distance. And then they went for a 2 point conversion, and luckily I had a sack to close out the game. So that was a nice feeling.
Yeah, just kind of great being able to walk away, with your head held high this past season. Obviously, didn't get the ultimate like prize, but I mean, you guys won a lot of games, earning a ton of respect nationally this past year. You yourself being named all conference, again with 6 sacks on the year, 10 tackles for loss. Um, Now we're looking at you as an NFL prospect. Um, as an NFL prospect, what do you feel separates you at your position? What do you feel maybe some of your best traits as we move forward to you to looking at you as a prospect in this draft?
I would say it would be my versatility for sure. Being able to play the edge, and having the experience of playing interior too and playing outside linebacker. Uh, I feel like that has grown my game exponentially across the board. Um, of being able to be in a five technique, stand up, 2 point stance, and then pass rushing off edge, doing that, and then also going down to a three. Um, Gained a lot of experience throughout my time at the academy. But for us being undersized, made us focus even more on fundamentals and technique. So being able to use my hands effectively involved my game tremendously. Um, and then just special teams. That held the backbone of it all.
Yeah, couple things come to mind, of course. I mean, when I think of guys in the service academy, their discipline is paramount. They preach that like day one. And that's something that you'll get out of a lot of guys coming out of service academies. And then, as you had mentioned, you having a lot of playing time on special teams. I feel like that's going to allow you an opportunity to see the field. Um, when you think about your time on special teams, what is maybe your favorite position on special teams and like your overall attitude with that role?
Oh, 100%. Being in the punch shield, uh, that was hands down my favorite special teams role. Being able to scan from man side to zone side, going across, picking up blockers. I feel like that translates a lot, and even potentially even fullback positions too. Like having that opportunity to kind of be in the backfield like that, and just taking on blockers one on one, knowing what's going on schematically on on that unit was awesome for us.
Gotcha. You ever see yourself maybe going back to perhaps a fullback position, maybe even as you're looking at your opportunities at the professional level, or no?
Definitely. That's something that I've been working on, training up leading into our pro day coming up here shortly. Running routes, getting used to blocks and check downs and doing stuff like that, just to step up my game. Just adding another tool to the shed. Um, Go touch on this versatility.
Why not? I mean, he's been an edge rusher, but let's see what in the world he could potentially do at the next level. So, what are you doing these days, right now, Justin, as you're preparing for your pro day, which is actually a week away?
hmm Yeah, so really just been using the resources here at the academy, the fields and facilities. Um, Getting in my work there. I just came back. I went back home for a little over a week doing some training out there. Um, that helped me out a lot too. Cleaning up some former technique stuff going into our pro day, but and just lifting, getting stronger. Um, Overall has been a big help going into pro day. Makes me building up confidence in it.
Gotcha. As we're moving towards this pro day, you're training for all of these drills. Is there maybe one particular drill or something that I don't know, think is going to shock a lot of people, or something that you're maybe most proud of as you're training right now?
Um, I would say three cone. Uh, I think being able for people to see how I move my hips and my bend, um, I think will shock a lot of people. As well as that is even just defensive line drills, stuff like that. I think that's going to be huge. Um, I think it'll be a shock a lot of people with just my ability is just being an athlete, but at the same time, my motor doesn't stop. So
Nice. I didn't know if maybe you were going to say that you're going to punch out a whole bunch of bench reps or something. Um,
that's a little secret. That was a secret I was going to save, but yeah, the bench is definitely going to be high on the bar.
all right, good. I mean, something certainly to look forward to. I appreciate that there, Justin. So, I want to take a brief moment to see if there's anything else about this guy who's, a stud edge rusher there for the Naval Academy. Um, Talk about yourself there for a little bit, man. Anything that maybe interesting or fun fact, or if you have any special talents or something, talk to me about you.
Well, growing up in Apex, North Carolina, you spent a lot of time outdoors, so fishing and was my number one thing. Playing the guitar, bonfires, that was something that I picked up pretty quickly and still do to this day. Um, I just always loved being outdoors and hanging out with the guys. But that's something that I feel like built me to who I am today and those experiences that I've had. So
Well, do you have the guitar there in the dorm room?
I do.
I'm not asking you to pull it out. I mean, I'm just kind of wondering, what I'm just wondering what you got.
Oh, like hear a little something?
No, 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 no. I'm just saying, like, what type of guitar are you playing there?
Oh, what type? Oh yeah, I got two Fenders. I got one acoustic and then one acoustic electric that you can plug in. Those are my go-tos for
All
sure.
right. What's the go-to genre, man? I mean, what are you playing? I mean, I mean, you're not just hopefully playing Kumbaya. I mean, I'm assuming you're playing something else. So, talk to me a little bit about what you're strumming there or plucking.
Oh yeah, a lot of country music. I kind of that's always my good go-to. I always tell them send me a song and I'll learn it within like 5-10 minutes and play it. So
All right. Is that what you're listening to in the locker room though? Like when you're trying to get yourself prepped up? I mean, like, talk to me.
I'll jump around from all types of music in the locker room. I kind of like to, depending on how the day, I like a nice good routine. So I'll start off with something calm going into it, like that morning of, and just kind of slowly amp it up throughout as the day progresses. And by locker room, I'm slamming like some full metal going on, just kind of pumping.
Whatever floats your boat, whatever gets you hyped up and ready to go. I didn't know where that was gonna go, but I mean, I just think it sounds fun. A couple more fun questions for you, and then we'll, lean towards wrapping things up. So, uh, I don't know. You have any pets down home there in North Carolina?
I did. I had a little dog named Lucy. She was holding it down. She passed away a year back. Um, but definitely gonna get another dog in the future for sure.
It hurts, but
Um,
I got you. Uh, Obviously a very talented guy. But I didn't know if maybe there was any other talents you're looking to do there. I mean, as an English major, I kind of teased earlier that maybe you might end up being a teacher. What do you see yourself doing with that, man?
the English. Well, okay. So at the academy, you take a lot of STEM classes. So when you graduate, you have a bachelor's in science. So I was like, I have my fill of my science classes, and then took a couple of English courses here, and I was like, opened up my mind a lot, especially poetry. Um, so I was a big
Do you
fan.
write or what?
I dabble, as I had dabble.
Okay. I mean, you kind of have to dabble a little bit, especially if you fancy yourself somewhat of a musician, right?
Yeah.
So rhyming here and there, trying to put some words together. So that
hmm
sounds like fun. Uh, Favorite home cooked meal. Going down to Apex, North Carolina. What do you want to get when you come back home with the family?
Mm, I'm a sucker for some good pulled pork. It's favorite. Um, a little bit too. So my mom, she was born in Germany, so she'll sometimes make some traditional German recipes. Um, that's always nice to eat too. Uh, but
Nice.
definitely
Some
wings.
some brats, some I don't know,
Oh yeah.
some worsts. So
Hmm.
cool. Uh, I don't know, maybe perhaps a celebrity who you'd love an opportunity to meet, whether it be an actor, musician, or athlete. Who would that be for you?
Oh man. Um, so athletes, I would say probably Rob Gronkowski. I've wondered, I feel like he has some crazy stories um throughout his time playing football and what he's doing and what he's been up to now. I feel like he has a lot of advice and a lot of mentorship on that end.
Yeah, definitely a lot of stuff. Of course, you as an edge rusher, who do you think's doing it at the elite level right now in the NFL?
Growing up, I loved watching Von Miller, and then even when Vic Beasley was in college playing at Clemson, those two guys because they were undersized, they used their speed and were effective pass rushers off the edge, and so those guys I looked up to tremendously. And then I think as a pass rusher, you have to give credit to Aaron Donald inside, just being so effective.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I mean, he dude is the GOAT. Like if
yeah.
you think about like impactful players, so
Hmm.
definitely up there. Well, Justin, we need to wrap up our time here soon. I mean, I know you have a pro day coming up in a week. I'm hoping to go out there and really, I don't know, impress some scouts and get your opportunity at the next level. Hopefully, hearing your name called in the draft, getting yourself an opportunity here very soon. Go ahead and close with your final thoughts as to what makes you a great competitor in this year's draft. So go ahead and close this out.
For me, it's being relentless across the board. If I'm given a job, I do it to the maximum of my ability. So whether that's on special teams or up from off the edge or even going switching over to fullback, um, I have a job and I get my job done, and that's how I always treat it here at Navy. And that's how I plan on treating it over when I get to the pros.
Gotcha. Very tough, relentless player, willing to do anything he's given at the professional level. So look forward to your pro day and want to wish you the best of luck moving forward. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure thing. Once again, I got Justin Reed, defensive end of the Naval Academy. Check him out.